Hi guys, I'm Ria.
And I'm Victoria, and today we are going to be talking about our Mission to Mars project.
For this project, we were asked to research numerous elements and compounds found on Mars. We researched these elements to determine what could be used to create products that could help mankind survive on Mars. We were assigned the elements phosphorus and nitrogen. With the help of other scientists, we were able to create potassium oxide, sodium chloride, sulfuric acid, and calcium sulfate.
Something that would be very essential to the survival of humans on Mars is shelter. We chose to use calcium sulfate as a material that would be used to create plaster.
In order to make the plaster, you have to combine water, which is readily available on Mars, with calcium sulfate, which is also available on Mars.
When you mix these two compounds together, they will create a substance similar to plaster of Paris.
Now we are going to do a small demonstration showing you how we would do this on Mars.
Hi, my name is Nova and today I'm going to be showing you how to create the plaster. To start out, you will need 3 parts calcium sulfate to 1 part water. This is a simple recipe, so anyone on Mars could learn how to build shelters. You can add these substances into any size or shape of mold to fit the needs of your structure. Here we are showing you a very small portion of what we could create using this. On Mars, we will have a lot more of these substances available in bigger molds so that it would be much easier to create houses and other structures. Now the calcium sulfate should be mixed with the water until it is well combined. When the substance starts to look smooth, this is an indicator the plaster-like substance is ready for drying. Before letting it dry completely, you will want to lightly tap the substance mold so we ensured that there are no air bubbles in the building materials. Now let it dry overnight and you will have a brick-like object that is ready for use. To assemble the shelter, use several bricks and stack them on top of one another. You can adhere them together by using more of the mixture calcium sulfate on water to make the structure is nice and solid.
Making shelter using calcium sulfate would be the best option because it is extremely cost effective.
It would be cost effective because the calcium sulfate and the water are readily available on Mars, so the only cost would be needed for the molds, which could be reused. This would be very helpful for the people on Mars because it is a quick and easy way to create material for shelter that would be long-lasting.
So you may be wondering why plaster is better than the materials that we currently use on Earth.
Well, first of all, the materials such as brick and concrete are much heavier.
And since these materials are not found on Mars, they would have to be transported, which would take more time and effort just to provide a shelter. Yes, the cost would also increase considering these materials are not readily available on Mars.
And because there is abundance of calcium sulfate and water already on Mars, our housing would be the best option for the people traveling to the Red Planet. Here are some examples of what the houses on Mars would look like.
From these pictures, you can see that the brick houses are quite bulky, whereas the plaster houses are more compact.
Correct. One goal on Mars would be to conserve space, and building shelters from brick and concrete would not be helping this goal.
The first picture was a big, expensive brick house, but the house made of plaster is cost effective and it wouldn't take as much space up. All in all, building a shelter out of calcium sulfate and water would be the best option on Mars.
With the help of our fellow scientists, we were able to discover that this would be the most cost-effective way to achieve our goal. It would provide housing and shelter to all of the people there without having to transport items and have to wait a long time to build the structures.
The climate on Mars is also extremely cold.
This is also another reason why the calcium sulfate to create the plaster would be the best option.
The calcium sulfate panels that would be inside the house would work as insulation to trap the heat inside the house and protect against the cold temperatures on Mars. That's all for today.
We hope you choose our plan for the structures on Mars.
See you next time!